Now, it's not every day that studios and rosters and people will ask for a resume. And the voiceover resume is something that's entirely different than a job resume, clearly, right? The things you want to list at the very top, of course, is your name, along with a website and an email address, right there. That principle of website name, demo, and website doesn't change from a website, right? So a demo and an email address doesn't change from a website. So on the demo, on the resume, name, email address, right? Phone number if you want to include it. Get a Google Voice number maybe. No. But definitely a name and an email, and maybe a little picture. Down below, the first thing that needs to be highlighted is the first thing that you want them to look at. Nobody looks at a resume from down up, right? We're all trained to look at a document from top to bottom, right? So the most important thing, which is your name and contact information, should be right at the top. And if you don't have enough credits to fill an entire page, you can still fill it with other. You don't want a resume of one item. It defeats the. It's too early. It's too early, and it defeats the purpose, right? But you have a handful of things, perfectly fine. Some things to include in a resume.
But friends are forever.
Your credits. If in the beginning you can put it together, right? This video game, this visual novel, this audio drama, just, title, name, your role / character, and producer, studio, whatever it is, whoever hired you. At the very base, that's how I have mine listed. Title of the show, the role that I played, and the studio that hired me, or wherever it distributed, and recognizable name, whatever it might be. Boom, boom, boom. In the beginning, you can put it all together. If you say you have 5, just list 5 lines. Right? Experience, or credits, or whatever. Another section you can fill it in with is your home studio specs.
In the end,
just as important, because home studios are so prominent today, right? The home studios are prominent today. So having the details of your home studio, right? Your recording environment, microphone interface, the DAW, so on and so forth. Computer specs a little bit. Home studio specs. Something else you can add in there, Hannah? Everybody else as well? Coaching experience. Who did you study with? Right? So that whoever is looking at this thing can immediately understand, okay, so you don't have a lot of work experience, but you're clearly learning and taking classes and progressing.
Sooner or later.
Same. Years ago, same. My resume looked exactly the same. Name, contact info, website, union status, location. For me, languages, Korean, right? English, because I'm bilingual. Right below that was my home, still continues to be my home studio specs, which I'm very proud of, right? So home studio specs. And below that, the limited number of roles and things that I had booked. And right below that were experiences in training. And it included names that people will recognize. Crispin Freeman, Rob Paulson, Tony Oliver, so on and so forth. Right? None of these people that everybody knows. Training. And when you run out of room down below that, education. Maybe you took a theater class. Maybe you have experience as an actor in a community college or in a community theater. Right? Like, there is no right or wrong things you can include. Well, the real question is, what do you want them to see? Right? What do you want your audience to know about you in that tiny little one-page resume?
Sense of humor.
Number of roles you booked? Because if there's a trend and a pattern which seems to be emerging in the area that you're booking, then as you approach your 17th visual novel studio, they're going to know, judging by the experience and the things that you have listed on there, they're going to know what you're doing. They're going to know that you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? And they can trust you to show up on time and deliver the performances as they expect. Right? So it's an expectation setting. Here's what I'm able to do, the value that I can bring, and look at all the things that I have done, either in training or in experience, that says I am the right fit for this thing that I'm pitching you on, that I'm auditioning for. Purpose of a resume. Obviously don't put things that are like discounting of your abilities and who you are, right? Language like, I only have 2 roles, but blah 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 blah. No, that's not right. Be proud of your 2 roles and present them as such. You auditioned and you were chosen out of however many there were, and you were brought on to work on this thing as an actor. It's legitimate. It's valid. It's credible. List it on your resume, show it off proudly, and be willing to talk about it proudly. Because you should be proud of yourself for the things that you've booked. Absolutely. Now, I wouldn't include any fan dubs in there. I'm sure you know why. I wouldn't put anything on there that's questionable in any way of your abilities, of your morality in terms of professionally speaking, ethics and morality as a professional, and all these things. But original character, even if it was free, right? Some person has created of completely free original characters that's not tied to any intellectual property anywhere, and it was a volunteer job. You put that on that list. Nobody has to know how much you got paid. No one has to know how much you got paid, and they're not gonna ask. But you did audition for it, and you booked it, and you voiced it, and you acted that character, and it's here. I would definitely link the YouTube link or whatever, wherever it is, to the thing on the PDF. Absolutely.